It's War Dragon time, RPW here with another episode of Talk Dragon Tuesdays. Now today is November 19th, which means we're going into week 12 of the Wither Moon season. Now, if you don't already know, each season is 3 weeks long, which means we're in the last 2 weeks of this season. So that means you can expect, as they have confirmed, that this week, alongside the Kingdom Wars event, you will be able to purchase, with rubies of course, your super sigil chests. So if you're into that, that should be here this week and the next. Now we're going to go over some other things this week on my channel, or today on my channel, which is a schedule change that you guys can expect to see in the upcoming season. We're going to go over the rune removal, my opinion of this and the overview. We're going to go over the dungeons, my thoughts, and some actual gameplay. And I want to go over some of the comments that you guys put in last week's video. Now, if you are new here or you've yet to get around to hitting that subscribe button, be sure to do so. And don't forget to hit the bell, of course, so that you don't miss out on posts of future videos, because we do like giveaways and stuff on this channel, so you don't want to miss out on that. Now let's talk about the event of the week, which is the Kingdom Wars. The Kingdom Wars is coming this week, and let's say you've been under a rock, have never played this event, or you're completely brand new to the game and you've yet to get to this specific event. Let me just give you one little tiny overview, which is this is a PvP event that you really need to be paying attention to your team on, because this is a very, 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 very teamwork oriented specific event. So be sure to check with your team, see what their strategies are, check their wiki or whatever, but this will be an event where you're going to be doing player PvP and PvE style attacks, where you'll need energy and inner fires. So when it comes to strategy though, check with your team and see what it is that they expect. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we do weekly giveaways, and I want to go over last week's drawing early in this video because there's a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and see, what it was about and who won last week's entry. Now, first of all, last week, as usual, I had everybody put their answer in the comment, and it was, what was your favorite idea or an idea that you might have for Atlas? Now be sure to comment that in the video below with your response and in-game name for a chance to enter in, of course, last week's contest, which we'll draw today. So I went through these. I wanted to look at your comments and see what it is that you posted. Whether if there was something you specifically liked that I shared with you, or if there was something that you had to share. And there were quite a few, comments in there, whether it be positive feedback or whole new ideas. So let's go through those. So Skyline says that it would be a great idea to have a no-hit button, especially for the newer players to Atlas, because they can get very overwhelmed with their alliances, and sometimes they fear actually being a part of some of the alliance stuff because they're afraid of making mistakes. Now, this other one explains beasts being a random. So, for example, if it's a lower level beast, then maybe that base is a little easier. But the higher the level the beast is, the higher the reward and the harder the base might be, to help keep that more random and an easier flow. I think that is a fantastic idea, actually. All right, so as for the grind, he thinks it would be nice to be able to at least see where you're being hit at in the banner popping up, so you know if it's a castle or just no man's land. Musty explains that they like the gold bucket idea, even though they don't hold elite, but that it is a cool idea. Now, this one that suggested the beast earlier also talks about opening a new continent where teams with no castles, and I'm going to tell you, honestly, I would read through his comment more, but I think we should challenge him to come in and doing a Let's Talk Dragons where we can actually sit and discuss this, because you seem to have some pretty cool ideas there. Now, let's jump into the next one, which looks like Stronghammer. They think that the best thing that they've suggested was the ability to toggle the no-hit. Kevin, you really got a lot of great comments on that. Roadkill says they like the no-hit button as well. Jason Jeffers says the castle moat would be nice to have, where you could put spikes or something to slow everybody down. Another one, which is again why you should be coming in and doing a Let's Talk Dragons, from this Wyan. And then Yasmin says, I think it would be great to have a no-hit button. And then Rageblade says, I love the no-hit button as well. The Third Eye says that they're a fairly new player. They just want to say their guides are great. Oh, thank you so much for your loving comments. And then, of course, we're going to jump in over to Wolf Warrior, who's talking about, glad to see I'm back and would love to also see no hit buttons, as well as Groot Beer, of course, agreeing with Kevin that no hit buttons would be great because he's a smart guy. Yes, he is. I agree. And then we got another one in here from I can't even pronounce this. I think it's Bo hates PG. The only thing I want for them is to find a way to destroy the Mega Alliance system, he says. I can understand that. And then Jason Jeffer says, you're right on the point that they need some change. To be honest with you, when I saw the Christina here, that's my name as well, it threw me off. I was like, wait, oh, her name is Christina. Anyways, yes, you're welcome for the video. And it says that she would like to see a defense invite where you can see where the attack is, just like the grind had mentioned. And it says, as for the ideas on the list, no hit buttons, mail alerts, dragon roster, all are basically great. And then, of course, another one from Wyan saying, welcome back. Then we got JC4U says that his favorite idea is the dragon roster access. And then another one says, I would love to delay on enemy primes attacking and stopping snipers. So, of course, they like that, and that's Pyro Redneck. And then YM once again, give us a festive or a mythic dragon, 2 summon warriors, death aura, etc., etc. We'll pay for the dragon because it auto farm, whatever. And then we have, hi RPW, a couple of questions. What is the point in having primes and castles to attack if you have a glory mine? So basically want to know what's the point in having glory mines, and it would basically stop the need to go out and hit castles. Well, that's not true, because castles are the growth of your team and your influence and so forth. That's a whole separate situation. Now, I wouldn't suggest that, for example, if we had a glory mine, that this is something that goes towards maybe any Atlas seasonal events, but it's just something to help you grow your Primarch and gain some seasonal prizes with the chests, for example. So why do I think it would be, not a bad problem, not a bad idea, is because it's going to allow some of the smaller teams that are really kind of pinned in, not able to get out and do anything because they don't have alliances or whatever that might be, or for teams that are just kind of taking it slow, that don't really have castles. So there is still going to be that ability to go out there and hit castles for the bigger prize, but this would allow, minimal glory for each player outside of that. So I don't think it's going to affect the entire mechanics of Atlas itself, but I could be wrong. Could at least do a trial run. Now, so it looks like Headcracker agrees with me, would love to see some dungeons in place for some glory. Beast says, any idea that makes it easier to acquire glory is a better thing. And then we got Louis, which is Gohan, says, how about some real wars on Atlas, which is a pretty interesting idea, where basically each team has to go against one another, and whoever kills the most troops and so forth will be the one that wins, and PG decides, of course, who your enemies are, instead of using alliances. Now, Thor's Hammer said that he liked all the 12 idea changes, and that it would make it more fun whenever it comes to hitting and things in Atlas and so forth. So very cool that you agree with me there. And then this one says, thanks for this video, but hush hush, take care of your voice, which is still messed up, by the way. At the beginning, it says I talked about egg token missions, and what do I think about the new timer missions, change or not? Now, this is a long comment, so I'm not going to be able to go through all your information on this comment, but I will tell you my thoughts on that. Now, being that they're giving us the ability to choose whether we want the egg missions or the timer, I'm totally okay with it. Especially considering there are players that are the in-game dragons that just gain and gain and gain and gain all these tokens with no avail. Like, they need nothing. But they're really, really desperately in need of timers. So I think that's going to be great for someone like that. I just feel that if you are a lower level player or mid-level player and you still have tons of dragons to be breeding, those timers should never be acquired by you. You should be working on the egg missions only. That's my personal opinion. I would never go for timers, even if I was in a crunch for timers, because those egg tokens are going to be far more valuable in the end. All right, Sphinx, of course, has some comments on some of my things, and I really don't want to lose focus in on the fact that he also has a great idea here, explaining to have a new interactive event system in Atlas itself. Basically, a team with the most attacked beasts or bases, the team with the most defense, or whatever it might be. Something that really encourages more gameplay as a team within Atlas would be great for them. That's what he feels. Now, here's the thing. I somewhat agree with that, but there are some teams that really aren't going to utilize that. But the ones that do, really hold hard in Atlas would probably truly enjoy that. So that's a great idea. Now, as for YM, he brought up another point here. It says put a button on the main screen where I can access our steward, basically where you could see your uncollected prizes, finished forges, and so forth. So basically like a window into the soul of the other side of Atlas. Frozen Dragon said a no-hit button would be great. Deadshot said the no-hit button would be great. Kevin Crumbly, I don't have an in-game name for you, says that the moat idea would be great. And the funny thing is, when I saw this comment, I realized I spelled moat wrong on my video. Anyways, moving on. Now, Ann31 or 311311 likes the idea of the glory dungeons and random boosts or beast loot. Baby Joe's says that they like to see some actual fixes to the game, more, creating more stability instead, which makes sense. Now, also the option to exchange shards for blue and red and green or dark and so on, so basically exchange them out. Shogun Sakura says, I really like the idea of glory runs, especially when you're just starting Atlas, even if they capped it once your Primarch reaches a certain level. That's pretty cool. Or if it decreases the amount of glory, graduating it to where a new Primarch gets the most out of it. But I like most of the ideas. My game would benefit from all of them in some way or another. So guys, we got a lot of great comments from you guys, and keep them coming. I really love when you guys put these comments in my videos because it's a good feedback for me. It lets me to see where it is I'm connecting or I'm disconnecting with you guys, and it really makes a great conversation. Now, I'm not one that's going to read every single time we do comments, but I felt that this one would be great because I am going to share last week's and this week's video with War Dragons so they can see the feedback on the Atlas video. So anyways, thanks again for all your comments. I've actually even had messages sent to me with ideas since then, so feel free to reach out. I don't mind at all. Just keep in mind, I don't work for War Dragons, so I can't make the changes. I can just only pass on ideas. Anyways, guys, great comments. Now, let's go ahead and find out which of you commented will win this week's contest. Now, remember, last week I asked you to put in this comment with your idea, either your favorite idea or an idea that you might have with your in-game name. Now, remember, you have to include your in-game name in order to win because otherwise they're not going to know where to send your prize. So let's go ahead and go grab the video link to last week's video so that we can go put it in the random comment picker that, again, I am so thankful Skyline gave me the info on because, wow, it has made my life so much easier. So we'll go ahead and go up to the YouTube random comment picker, paste that video into the screen, and grab some YouTube comments. All right, so let's click the start button. Drum roll, please. I don't like doing that, but I do it anyways. All right, guys, so the winner this week is going to be Shogun Sakura, which we went over her comment earlier, but congratulations. You are the winner of this week's $20 in-game pack. I'll send your information up to Ariana just here shortly. Now, if you're interested in winning in a $20 in-game pack for your gaming experience, be sure to stick around because we're going to be going over how you can win this week later on in the video. And it's actually a pretty interesting contest this week. I think you guys are going to love it. Just stick around so you can find out what it is exactly. Now, if you didn't watch the Summit videos, they had live streams. You can go back and watch them later on, but they were in their Twitch. They actually exposed some dragon art. Now, these aren't the official pictures for sure, because this is the concept art. But if you didn't get to see these, be sure to go over to the Twitch website and check out these things. I know that these pictures are going around also within line and so forth, but they really have some beautiful concept dragons for next season, so I'm super excited to see what they'll be, which I think we're gonna get to see here next week. I'm so excited, including these cute little dwarfen riders. So if you need a rider, there's definitely some cute ones to grab up this coming season. Now, let's go over my honest overview and feelings behind the dungeons. Now, this is a new thing that they brought out a couple weeks back, and we were able to do this between the events just like this week, where you can earn some extra goodies doing these dungeon runs. Now, I went ahead and recorded myself doing these dungeon runs, fast forwarded it, so that you guys can watch me do these runs as I talk about what I think about it. Now, first of all, it's free stuff, right? Everybody loves free stuff. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to grind them out, but it's technically, and in essence, free stuff. You get to gain your keys along the way. They gave us 40 free keys right off the bat, etc., etc. And they're easy bases for most people. And in the end, you're gaining awesome prizes. So you can't complain too much when it comes to the easy stuff behind it. However, I think there's a lot of glitches that's coming with this specific thing in the game. And I think the first thing I noticed, of course, was the moment that it popped in there, as you know, the dungeons will be coming shortly, all of a sudden we had issues turning around bases and so forth. Like, it caused a slight glitch, unfortunately. And the other thing I noticed about the dungeons is that when you're doing the dungeons, the spell sets that your dragons have, it's like it doesn't have the same reach towards those things. It doesn't have the same effect level either. Like, there's just something very strange. I went through and I literally hit this with different dragons each and every run, and I just noticed that the dragons, each and every single one of them, not all spells affected this base the way they would on a normal base. So when they were talking about it in the summit video, how, you know, this is something they might think about bringing into the future of War Dragons, like make our bases different more along the rounds of this, that kind of scares me, because it's going to change the entire concept of the game. And I don't mean scares me in a bad way. It just makes me nervous, because we're going to have to rethink the way that we do everything, especially considering that when you go into to do an attack, most of our dragons and their spells will basically be obsolete. Because think about this, these are easy peasy little bases, and I struggle to get certain spells to work on certain towers. It's like the reach is just different. However, I did notice that they did change like the field of view this round versus the last round, where you're a little more lower down. The pitch is a little bit differently. So maybe they're adjusting as they go to figure out where it is we need to be more successful in that. So I'm not for sure. And I noticed that I was a lot less motion sick from that little change in the pitch. And the reason I know it's different is in this one specific turn towards the end, right before, it's like 2 turns before this one, there used to be 2 boats on the right hand side. You could get the one at the bottom, the one at the top, and they were a little smaller. Well, now that's like one at the bottom and you don't see anything at the top. So it's either A, above, or B, it was pointless, so they took it out because they changed the way that curve was or something. So something's definitely changed in the element of the design of this, and maybe that's the whole reason in the dungeons, is just to see how we interact with it, see how, you know, what changes need to be made if they do decide to bring this in the future. Now, what I think is most interesting and most fun about this is it's completely different. I mean, it's completely different. It doesn't have just 5 towers on one specific area. You never know how many towers there are going to be, if there will be any, on the next island. And then you've got like these bulk towers randomly, you know, throughout the base or whatever, with the much bigger towers and so forth. Now, I will say that end guy right there, he's a little worrisome, because it's like, what if you wanted to come through and just finish off with Death Gaze? I mean, is it going to work the same? I don't know. So there are some little things that worry me about it, but I think it is overall a very cool concept. And I think it's too early to judge this specifically when it comes to the regular set of War Dragons. But as for the dungeons, I really hope they keep it, because those prizes are really nice to have. Very, very nice to have. There's extra shards, timers, whatever you might get out of them. I got some embers out of one, for example. So to me, definitely something I want to personally keep around when it comes to those stages in between the events. I'm quite shocked. I really do like it. So that's my concept on it, or my thoughts on it. So if you have, you know, any ideas on what you feel about this specific little miniature event they've put together, be sure to put that in the comments section below. Of course, that's not a part of the entry. We've got another comment that'll be a part of entries later on, but put that in there and let me know what you think of it, and tell me, you know, what your positives and your negatives are about it. Because again, for me, it just seems like the spells and the way things work is just not the same as it does in regular War Dragons, which could be a good thing, but it could be a bad thing. I guess it depends on if you're on the giving end or the receiving end of an attack. Hey, let's talk about the new rune removal chisels. Now, I've had actually a few people reach out to me and they're like, you know, what do you think of this? And my first thought is, of course, I don't really know. Like, I don't have any use for a rune removal tool. I've really been very lucky in putting the right things on the right dragons. So for me, I don't know. Now, here's the thing. I went in today and I looked at my base after the update, and then started doing some recordings so that I could go over the update with you guys, which isn't a lot. It's mostly just some fixes and, of course, the chisel. But in the end, I found out something that's a little more interesting than reading off the screen to you guys. And of course, this could have changed since then. In fact, I'm going to look right now as this video is playing. But I noticed that there is no actual rune removal tools, at least for my base, as you'll see here in a minute. I am going to double check while we're scrolling through this. Again, I would be normally reading off this for you guys. But basically, the concept is you're going to go through, you're going to use a rune removal tool, which is the chisel, in order to take runes off. And each one will have a certain cost, whether it be a mythic at 100 chisels, a common for 1, etc. And you're going to be able to earn these in things like events, and then, of course, they're going to give us some right off the bat, which is a really weird price, like cost, like the way they're passing it out. If you're player level 59, you're going to get 20. You're just under 400, you're going to get 120. And remember, one mythic is 100 and some, or like 100 chisels, of course. And I really don't see the point in you guys using this on something like a common. Like, that would be a waste. Do not do that. That would be a serious waste. So anyways, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go make sure I put in this update. So I went and double checked, as you guys can see here in the video. And I'm like, okay, yep, all right, it says open. However, I go back to the game, and I'm sure enough, guys, I'm looking right now, it's not any different. I go back to the game, and I thought, okay, well, where are these? Like, do I go over to the rune area? Do I go into my dragon area? What do I do? So I go over to the dragon, click equip, and I don't see anything fancy there, nothing fancy over here, and I thought, well, maybe it's the dragon itself. So maybe I gotta go in, click on the rune. It just says salvage and upgrade. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'll admit, I didn't read the whole article on this. I thought, so maybe there's a way to do this, and I just don't even realize how. But I'm frustrated because now to look at my runes for each dragon, I have to go clear into the rune vault. Like, I used to be able to click on the dragon and then pretend like I was going to change it and look through my runes. It was just a faster, easier way to do that. And now I can't do that because it wants you to salvage. Like, it's just weird. So I thought, well, I'm going to go see if that is over here. So I click on the cheapest dragon, and of course you just saw there was nothing there. So I'm like, I'm very confused right now. What is going on here? There's nothing I can see. And I thought, well, let's swap it out for a cheaper dragon and try it again over here. I'll click the actual salvage button because I didn't want it to salvage anything good. No, it makes me confirm. But there's still no chisel. So I'm like, where in the hell is this rune chisel? Like, am I going crazy? I see nothing. So I thought, well, maybe I need to go into the actual website and actually read exactly how it is that it works, if the information is even there. So I did do that. I ended up going back into their website over at the wardragons.com blog, and it says to remove it, you select it from your active roster, tap on the equip tab, then under the rune, select the rune you want to modify. Then there will be a list of actions where you can remove, or you can send your rune back to your rune vault, which isn't true. Like, it's not even there. So I don't know if this is glitching for everyone, if it's not activated yet, like maybe the update came, but this won't be active. I don't know. So to me, it seems like a total thumbs down, disappointment, a total glitch. I don't know yet, but I think it's been glitched. I will see. So you tell me what your experience was. Did you find that this is glitched out? Are you having the ability to use these things? Because, well, I don't. Anyway, very interesting, I thought. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the next bit of business, which is RPW Gaming schedule. Now, as you know, I used to do like tons of videos a week, and it got overwhelming, especially trying to keep up with like every week doing an Atlas Explorer, every week doing Back to the Basics or whatever. So I've figured out a way to make things a little easier. So I've created where Saturdays and Sundays is when I'll do live streams, not every day, hence, not every day, but that's when I would do them if I do them. Mondays will, of course, be my new memes and GIFs. Tuesdays will be Talk Dragon Tuesdays, as usual. Wednesdays is which I'm going to call the weekly strategy videos. Thursdays is Let's Talk Dragons. Fridays would be what I call Fun Friday videos, and so forth. So I'm going to be going through this schedule with you guys. Now, if you'll notice on this, you can see on a month, every Monday, it's going to be the same type of thing. It's going to be your GIFs and your memes. Every Tuesday, same thing. Talk Dragon Tuesday all the way through. Same with Thursday. However, on Wednesdays and Fridays, they're going to be a little more special. They're actually going to cycle out per month, these style videos. So I'm going to go over those with you guys so you guys can know what to expect, because there are some new videos coming. And remember, some of these names might change per my crazy creativity. So first of all, possible live streams. Again, these will either be on Saturdays or Sundays, but the dates and stuff are subject to change. These will by no means be a weekly thing. You might see me, once a month, 3 times a month. It just depends. And that's if my internet shows that it supports it. So when I do my drunk live streams or I do my coffee live streams, these now will be on Saturdays and Sundays. So hopefully I can get those in, and hopefully it works out for us. I don't know. We shall see. I've got the highest speed internet in the Augusta area where I live. Unfortunately, it's better speed in other locations here. Now, as for the GIFs, this equals the Monday memes and GIFs, which are scheduled out for every Monday. And the GIFs can be found here on YouTube, which you can share with your friends via the Line app or whatever. And then, of course, I do a weekly meme on Facebook. Now, ironically, last night I was up till 1 a.m. making these for you guys. I've got like 2 seasons worth of GIFs and memes coming for you guys. They've already been scheduled out. Automatically will be coming out on Mondays. So I hope you guys enjoy those. Feel free to share them. And again, like, that's a great way to show support here to my channel. Now, if you missed this last one, which was yesterday's, we had a GIF that goes mythic expectations versus reality. Of course, you think it's going to be this crazy strong dragon, and it ends up mean, you got to do a little more work than you expected. And then I saw this picture and I just thought of, could you imagine? That'd be like War Dragons on a board game. So it made me think of this, which is, if Pocket Gems were Parker Brothers. It literally looks like Atlas, right? So these are this week's. Be sure to show some love, share these out online, and get some support out there. Now, as for Tuesdays, as usual, they will be Talk Dragon Tuesday, which is what you're watching right now, which is going to be, your weekly news, whether it be about the game or it be about my channel or about whatever. So this is also where you're going to find out about how you're going to be able to enter for a chance to win, an in-game pack for that week. It might be within the video itself, or it might be explaining to you have to do it in another video that week. So be sure to check that out. Now, Wednesdays, again, that's going to be now the weekly strategy weeks. Now, Wednesdays is reserved for these, which will change per week. This will be either event strategies, the beginner guide series, which I call Back to the Basics, the Atlas guides, and then, of course, my seasonal reviews and guides for each season. So those will be like seasonably related videos. Not necessarily when it comes to the event, but like maybe what dragon you should be choosing, how you should be spinning your sigils, what I'm doing, my review on dragons of this, not on dragons, but on prize lines or whatever it might be. So this is going to be all about the strategies every week on Wednesday. All right, so here's the thing. Let's Talk Dragon is the following day, which is Thursdays. And this is something that I could like set up and schedule out as well, just like I did with my memes. But then, like, a lot of the things we'll be talking about may be obsolete or might change, just like in the weekly strategy videos. So these are videos that I kind of have to be careful when I do them and how far ahead. So it can be a little challenging. But I need your help to get these scheduled in. I need people to come and talk with me. It's really easy to do. We do it over line. I record our conversation, and it's between 15 minutes and 20 minutes of video time. So it's pretty awesome. Now, as for Fridays, I'm calling these Fun Friday videos. And I don't want to go into too much detail on each of these because the name kind of gives an idea of what they're going to be like, but I don't want to just like spoil everything. But you're going to be able to come over and enjoy a laugh with me and challenge accepted. Listen to my thoughts for the new dragon, or what I call the video, Come Fly With Me, Come Fly. Sorry, my voice is horrible right now. Enjoy the nostalgia of past dragons in Blast from the Past, where I fly older dragons, and even have your very own chance to be seen flying here on my channel for featured flyers. Now, this theme might change, and the reason is, I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't watch other people's videos, mainly because I don't have time, but secondly is because I don't want to accidentally influence my videos, so I don't really watch anybody's videos ever since I really started my own. But ironically, there's a small discrepancy. Now, this is a video that I wanted to do for quite a while. I've had actually several players send out some videos to me, including Butta Boy. There was Cam, who sent me some videos where I was going to put together these feature flyer videos and fly or whatever. But I found out that the grind actually has a series called Featured Flyers, which I've yet to watch one. But anyways, because of that, I may be changing the name. He doesn't mind. He's okay with it. But I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel bad. So if I can come up with another name, that might change. But for now, we're going to keep it Featured Flyers. And again, this is just my way of saying thank you and showing off what you guys have learned over the course of the last year or so, and see what you can do with your dragons. So, I mean, as you know, I'm not the best flyer in the world. So it's a good help for all the viewers here. Now, you'll also notice on my channel, there's been some revamp when it comes to the design. I'm pretty excited. So if you go over there, I've actually got my links together again, where you can go over to my Facebook page, my Line account. You could find the War Dragons blog, all those kinds of things right there in my YouTube with a whole new fresh look. I really like the new logo. Me personally, I think it just turns out so beautiful. So be sure, like I said, if you don't subscribe, guys, to this channel, that you subscribe and you jump over to those other media platforms and hit that follow button. All right, so if you want to enter in this week's contest for a $20 in-game pack, here's where you find the info. All right, so on the RPW Gaming Weekly giveaway this week, rubies are red, some shards are blue, prizes are sweet. The winner could be you. So this week, what you're going to do is actually a Mad Lib entry. So let's go ahead and jump into the Mad Lib. As you'll notice here, there's some blanks here, and there's some gray areas that are grayed out. There's actually some words behind this that I will expose next week. But I need you to put in the comments your in-game name and one of each of the following: an adjective, a noun, a past tense verb, an adjective, a noun, and another past tense verb. What in the world? Verb. No herbs today, guys. No herbs, just verbs. Anyways, once you get these in there, we'll do a random comment picker next week, and then we're going to put those answers into this Mad Libs and read it out. So the other thing is, make sure it's funny. That way it's a funny Mad Lib, and we can actually have some enjoyment, but I try to keep it, somewhat polite, because there could be kids watching this video. So with that being said, get those in there so you can get your entries in and possibly win the $20 in-game pack for this week. Now, guys, before you leave, don't forget to smash that thumb. So you don't also forget to put that comment in the section below. Share my video with someone you love. Subscribe if you have not already. And don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, guys, that is it. Happy flying.